Julio, thanks for joining me. This is Tyler Steeves with Wilder Future, the show where we explore the bleeding edge of science and tech for a regenerative future. Habitat Marte, I am very excited to learn a little bit more about Professor Rezende. Please tell us a bit about Habitat Marte.
Yes, thanks so much, Tyler. Our first mission was December 2017, and we were inspired by Mars Desert Research Station based in Utah. And the first two analogs in the world was led by Dr. Robert Zubrin, and Robert Zubrin created also the flashlight on Arctic and on Canada, like in the Devil Island was the first during 2001. And in the next year, 2002, the Mars Desert Research Station based in Utah, both created by Robert Zubrin and Mars Society. And the third analog habitat was the high seas based in Hawaii. 11 years later, created during 2013. During 2017, we were created two more analogs, the Lunaris in Poland and Habitat Marte in Brazil. And we were inspired by Robert Zubrin, and I during my postdoc in University of Central Florida, I had contact with the analogs, and I considered very creative idea. And in Brazil, we in Brazilian semi-arid, we just had research about sustainability and one specific location in the outside. And based in these previous experiments, this previous research in this location in northeast of Brazil, we decided to create the analog, the space analog station at Tatimar. Yes.
Incredible. And so, maybe just for listeners, do you want to just briefly describe why an analog mission matters and what inspired you specifically into getting into it?
Yeah. Uh, it's very interesting because all technologies that we can imagine that will be supporting the future of space exploration. I don't like the word exploration, but I prefer the word sustainability. In this case, I always keep attention about not to use the word exploration, but I prefer the term sustainability. One of the things is the analogs looks to anticipate the future technologies that will be used in the future space missions, testing these protocols, technologies, procedures on Earth. In this case, normally we are using the term analogs because we're doing analogy that would be like a real situations on Mars and Moon. And in this case, also, if you imagine in the past, many technologies that were considered to be sent to Apollo missions first were tested on Earth, and also the current experiments and technologies aboard of International Space Station, they are exhaustively test on Earth too. And in this case, the analogs is do these kinds of tests on Earth, and uh, also based in intravehicular activities that happens inside the station, extravehicular activities that when happens outside of station, when is used like a flight suit or a space suit to simulate like the conditions that would be experienced on Mars or Moon. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And so, what specifically about all of this excited you? Because I'm excited by it too. I think it's amazing, and I think it's absolutely critical for the sustainability of humanity, as you would say, because life is going to get harder on Earth as we run out of fossil fuels, as we population explodes, and certainly when we live in resource scarce environments like Mars or the Moon, life will be very tricky unless we have the right technology. And like the Inuits say, there's no bad weather, only bad clothing. And so, similarly for astronauts, if we have the right technology, then life can be great everywhere. But what sparked the interest for you to get into this so seriously?
Yeah, it's many activities that is under development were based in contributions of different universities in the world. Also, sometimes main topics related to applications to analogs related to health. Health is a big issue, a big topic in terms of application. Agriculture becoming stronger, each time stronger, because agriculture, many also in countries, in regions in the world with severe winter, we is considered more cultivation, indoor cultivation, and also using controlling environments. And controlling environments for food growth basically is almost the same. That the same principles are very common between the considerations about environmental life support systems, controlling environments like greenhouses on Earth, the
Totally.
same for the like the future greenhouse operating on Mars or Moon. And in this case, is a collaboration related to two ways, like space collaboration to Earth, and also for collaboration to the future, and also the present space sustainability activities. Yes. In this case, engineering, culture, health, psychology, and these are some topics very hot in terms of considerations to apply on space missions, and also considerations about learnings and spin-offs to daily lives on Earth.
Yeah, huge. No, I think about analog space missions a lot, and I'm sure you think about it all the time. I mean, this is literally what you do. But when I look at it, there are so many pieces that seem to matter. And one of them seems to be like any good practice, which is it requires repetition. It's just like working out. You need to put the reps in. And so with the analog astronaut missions, noticed with Habitat Marte just on the blog that there have already been a lot of missions. And that is awesome. What are some of the things that you guys are getting in terms of feedback or learning from some of these missions?
Yeah, we each mission we are writing reports about the missions, and also we each mission there is some service to be answered also from the related to data that we are collecting during the missions. And something very important are the protocols that we are operating, and this is one of the foundations to the good experience of the participants in the missions are the protocols, because the protocols are guiding the steps that you need to do. And in this case, you have around 200 protocols and survey just operating on Habitat Marte. And the protocols are very important also for the safety of analog astronauts, because if you follow up a protocol, probably the risks are lower. And each time we are creating more protocols, and sometimes the protocols are proposed by some external investigators that are considering like bringing these new ideas or new protocols to be applied with participants during the analog missions.
Okay, now
Yes.
question for you. How do you know which protocols are actually important and which ones aren't?
All of them I consider important, because each time you are reviewing, like we are following like a methodology of PDCA, like a plan, do, check, and act, like a loop. And also each time identify opportunities of improvements in the operation of these protocols. For example, something very basic is like preparing coffee during the analog missions can be something simple, but the machines to prepare coffees are different from country to country. And for example, you use like Italian coffee machine. And if you let like this Italian coffee machine a long time, this would start like a fire. And it's a like a simple example that if you're not following the protocol, this would bring risks for the crew. And also external activities, sometimes the extravehicular activities would represent risks for the analog astronauts. And the point is each time bring more safety for astronauts, for analog astronauts during analog missions. For now, we never happen an accident, as we're not free to happen something in the future, but it is more than 200 missions. Never happened something like a dangerous to them or risky to them. And this is based in the protocols, but because the protocols, each time that we are reviewing the protocols, we are considering how to let the mission more safe for the astronaut. And consider that it's not good when you are traveling to other country and happens something that is not close to your home. And we are trying to avoid the situations based in the guidelines to participants.
Yeah, that makes sense. In general, when we go to the moon and Mars, like let's say that we end up sending thousands of ships to Mars, which is the idea that we're going to be sending thousands of ships to Mars every year.
Yeah.
Well, maybe every 2 years based on the
Yeah.
orbits and everything else.
Yeah.
But assuming that, then we're going to have Elon says 1 million people on Mars in a city. So if that happens, I imagine that there's going to be a lot of deaths. I mean, if we look at the United States, when people came over and they were farming tobacco in Virginia, 1 out of every 4 people died. 1/4 of the people died when they came here to the United States. So I think it's inevitable that there will be, I could be wrong, but I think a lot of people will likely die when we go to Mars. And I think we have to minimize that, but that there will be inherent danger in such an inhospitable place. So I think that on the one hand, minimizing that risk is important. But on the other hand, I think that in analog astronaut missions, we almost need to be looking at how do we break systems in order to make them better. So how can we make the systems difficult and how do we make those things real? And this is one of the things that I've really struggled with is whenever we're pretending, it's hard to make it real. So what are some of the pressures and stresses that you guys are putting in to make it feel more real?
Yes, we in our case, in our philosophy, we try to bring like a controlled situations. For example, we will be receiving the world biggest analog mission is the largest analog mission in the world because it will be happening in 17 different facilities in the world, and we'll be like 2 weeks missions will be 6 members participating in the crew and more for supporting participants in mission control. And one of the things that we are doing during the mission is like simulations of accidents, different kinds of accidents, and how they would, what kind of procedure they need to do. For example, Habitat Marte, we are not only one habitat, but we are four. And now we are constructing our fourth habitat. It's like a complex. It's the Habitat Marte, the Luna Habitat, Lava Cave Habitat, and Cosmic Habitat. It's four. The Cosmic Habitat is we just did like it's full closed, but we are bringing the also the utensils to. We are bringing the utensils. But one of the things, for example, the Luna Habitat will be the Habitat B, and in this Habitat B, they will simulate accidents and bring the astronauts inside about some procedures with them. Like also part of the crew is doing paramedics training, and this is interesting because they will bring these skills, these ideas to apply during and would be the risky situations that are happening. Sometimes, for example, the last international mission happened that we during maybe around 18 hours we lost the energy, the electricity, and this is like a real situation, like having it. And we sometimes just happen like a communication breakdown. This is like a real situations that happens that we are bringing to the mission. And this is something like we are sometimes, for example, it's we are based in semi-arid, but the semi-arid is sometimes rainy too because it's not like the name is not completed area. Sometimes during some months we have some rain in this region and not so much. But these sometimes we have like a planet extravehicular activity outside of station, and then happens it starts to rain, and you need to consider how this will be our program, how we need to redefine our activities and also substitute this extravehicular activity for other activity. Or maybe if something happens like this when we are doing the EVA, what kind of procedure you need to do. In this case, in real situations like would happening, some real situations like this that you need to consider in the mission.
Yeah, that's huge. That sounds awesome. And I like the idea of having planned errors, but then I also like the idea of, kind of unplanned errors. And then I had another question that follows up with that, which is and you mentioned that some of those with the electricity, but when you look at something like Biosphere 2, and I know that you've got some experience here with their 2-year mission. Tell me about the value of longer missions in an analog context.
Yeah, we in Habitat Marte, the largest mission was 90 days during in-person mission. And it's each time longer will be more easy to some disturbing psychological issue bring emerge during the mission. Like sometimes the people like would be becoming becoming crazy like a longer time, but because of this is it's very important to consider like interviews and selection process for the crew to understand the person that is applying for an analog mission, if he's a balanced person, and also evaluate the motivations to participate, because we just had applicants in the past that not was possible to participate because when we start to talk with the person, we observe something like something strange that we need more attention. Yes, and this is like as like in a psychology approach to evaluate this person. Okay, yes,
Well, that was great. I really like that. I've got two continuation questions on that part.
okay.
One, what kind of mental stability or psychological profile are you looking for? And then the follow up is, what about the environment is making people crazy?
Yeah. Maybe sometimes there is something that if you see like participants, they normally they are coming with their own resources, and sometimes it's not funded. In our case, it's not funded by a government or not funded by a company, and sometimes it's a bring you with their own resources. And sometimes they are attached to the regular activities that they have in the real life. Sometimes they have bills to pay. Sometimes the wife is there is some commitment with the wife or with the husband, or sometimes the like a professional activities in the real world. And if you are having like a larger mission, this person needs to see how to deal with this outer world, like the real life, because if he is participating in isolation during a long time. It is this is interesting because this person need to have like a supporting supporting members or family that to give to him like the all support that he stay relaxed to be focused on the mission. Because if something happens outside, like if how and he if he's worried about the external situations, this would be difficult to this person. I believe this is when we are considering like something more professional in terms of participants with funding from space agencies, like for example the astronauts. If you see the Canadian astronauts, American astronauts, European astronauts, they just have like the salary paid by the space agency. In this case, it's more comfortable than become very focused. But in the analogy astronauts participants, this is not the reality because probably they have a job outside, and sometimes the boss say, look, I will only give you 10 days or 14 days. I accept you participate, but you need to come back. In this case, the analog astronauts, they have some restrictions because they have a real life outside of the space analog mission. That these sometimes the difficulties will be related with this. Different when you are comparing with a real astronaut. That is if the real astronaut is just pass for all steps in the selection process, he will be receiving like a salary from the space agency, and now he will become more relaxed about the to be very committed with the space program. Yes.
Yeah, it would be easier certainly if you didn't have outside pressures
Yeah.
to make money or
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
else. But I do sometimes think about the idea of pleasure being important in life, at least to some degree. and this idea of hedonistic sustainability, where we should have processes that are relatively enjoyable to use. And I don't think that that's typically designed for. When it is designed for, I think people like it. You look at Apple products, it's kind of a classic one of there seems to be this luxury kind of feeling of beauty imbued in the products. And I wonder about habitats and what role pleasure and beauty has in developing at least some part of those living arrangements.
The habitat, we like in our case we have like two dimensions, like the inside the station is how to have like a good supporting technology of resources for participants. This is very important. But something interesting in our case is like the landscape outside the station. Like it's a very beautiful landscape of cactus. It's semi-arid, like mountains and cactus and some prairies. And this I believe in our case is important. Also, is one of the reasons of the construction of the fourth habitat, the cosmic habitat, because in the cosmic habitat was created like a permission to the participants throw away the flight suit. He'll take out the flight suit. There is a kind of plateau that he'll lay down and to watch the sky. And this activity happens between 6 and 7 p.m. That is becoming darker here. And if it's not rainy, if it's not cloudy, you have a very beautiful sky. It's not lightning pollution in this place, and it's possible to see during this time like the raising of satellites in the sky. Sometimes it's possible to see around 30 satellites in the sky, and these part of the experience are very interesting because they are connected to the sky, to the cosmos, watching the cosmos. Something that I like to say in some lectures that I'm doing. If you perceive, we are all of us are astronauts, but you're not aware about because we are in a big ship, the Earth ship traveling the cosmos. But sometimes the great maybe 99% of the society is not aware about because we are in a ship traveling. It says if you the astronaut, the word astronaut is the traveler of the stars, and or in the case of Russia is a traveler of cosmos, the cosmonaut. And we are not aware about this. And when in this time when we are watching the sky, the idea is we perceive how to be more connected with this cosmic reality. And this is one of very important points for our missions in Brazilian semi-arid is how the participants develops this connection with the cosmos, because this is very important in my point of view, because one of my backgrounds is psychology, is to bring like how to the missions, the space and log missions would bring a high state of consciousness. And the process to be connected with cosmos is very important to bring this experience to them. Like if the participants becoming more develop this perception about the connection with cosmos, probably will happen like a more quality of life to them, and probably more psychology good experience. And this will be good. If this happens, the mission will be more safe because they're not very stressed. And in our case, from my personal experience, it's very important the extravehicular activity, because in our case they can be connected with the landscape and also connected with the cosmos. And in our Habitat Marte, this is important. Also, in the real situation on Mars, imagine in the future, like some maybe 10 years, this will be happening. Walking in the Mars desert, watching the something, doing steps that never done before, because it's also a big planet. They watching the rocks and the regolith, and how this would be amazing, like be the first persons, the first humans doing these steps on Mars. And this also is very interesting. And other interesting thing, Tyler, if you see like Culturally speaking, if you see like maybe in the some desert places on Canada or in United States or Brazil, some isolated areas sometimes develop some interesting cultural expressions like music, and sometimes I'm thinking like the music created from the people that lives in isolated places, maybe this would be the music to support like that makes sense for the future of space sustainability activities. For example, I like the Australian rock like Midnight Oil and Men at Work, for example. And I sometimes I imagine like look at these guys maybe would be like were inspired by Australian Outback to create their music. And maybe this kind of music will be interesting for also to consider about to bring like a good environment, mentally health environment to the future of space presence, human presence on Mars, for example. And sometimes I think what would be the best music to put in a playlist to listen on Mars? Sometimes I'm thinking about.
Oh, absolutely. Now,
Yeah.
okay, I have a very specific question. Tell me about the bathroom and shower facilities for Habitat Marte.
Okay. We as this basing our isolation, we like the water is delivered by a truck. It's a truck water brings the water, and now we have like a well, but it's a salty water. But now recently we installed like a desalination plant to treat these salty water. And now, for now, we are very relaxed in terms of water supply, but we are calculating. We have a hydrometer to calculate, for example, how many liters we are starting the emission and how many liters were consumed in the end of the mission. And we are doing calculus like how many liters are consumed by day or by participant. For example, like sometimes we have like 45% or sorry, 40 or 45 liters by participants by day. And a part of this water is also to clean dishes and also to prepare meals. And one of the things is we present recommendations about save water. Also, we have like a procedure related to save water from the bath, and also we are very careful about the consumption of water during the mission. But the shower is like a regular shower. It's sometimes cold shower because it's not hot water, because one of the things is like hot water is very good to you feel warm and safe. And maybe I considering like for the next weeks maybe install like a hot shower. But one of the things like a cold water, the people will have like a faster bath. This would be good for to save water. But it's in our case it's a regular toilet and regular restroom.
Kind of a radical idea, and it's that human kind of bodily enjoyment uh, is mentally incredibly satisfying and important. So the idea is that what if there was a steam room and a cold plunge? So that you had almost like a mini spa within your environment. I know it sounds
Yeah.
indulgent and sort of over the top, but in a place where you are maybe lonely, you don't have the regular pleasures of life, having something like that hot cold immersion, I just wonder if it would really add to the experience in a meaningful way. And I think it's something you could probably do anywhere.
Yeah. Yes. In this place where is the cosmic habitat, and there is a plateau, and there is a like a rock formation that during the winter is collecting water. Maybe is like a 3 meters deep, and we are constructing like a sauna, and they will stay like inside the sauna, but it's not finished yet. We are doing this construction because it's become it is It's been a longer time than than I expected this construction process. But the idea of the sauna, the participants stay together inside the sauna and also leave the sauna and jump in this water tank. Like it's a natural water tank from
I
the
love
water.
this. Yes, that would be my number one recommendation for any habitat because I think it's fundamentally human. When you look at civilizations throughout history, from the Romans to the Japanese to the Finns to the Turks, everywhere, people come up with these hot baths, hot and cold immersion, and I think it's really transformative. The
Yeah.
Temescal in Mexico. I mean, there's such a rich human history of hot and cold immersion, and I think it's nourishing for the soul.
Yeah, and this will be like the first analog with one facility with this, and also look is again it's a place that we are permitting the people take out the flight suits, and they will have like a sauna, a small lake, it's, 20 meters for maybe 50 meters for 6 meters, like a water tank, like a rock formation, and also sauna. It's very interesting. Also possible to watch the sky in this place. It would be very amazing place. Yeah. Probably in the next like more 1 month will be done.
Okay, now I'm interested in doing a mission. That
Yeah.
sounds amazing.
Yeah, this is what like each analogy station in the world presents a different approach, and we are this is our approach. I'm not presenting like critics to other stations, but in our case, will be like the quality of life will be is very important for the analogy missions, and also will be important for the future real presence on Mars, and because we can't imagine stay like a long time and also mentally safe without consider quality of life, how the quality of life would be experienced on Mars. And this is interesting. We imagine and also design these protocols on Earth and put in operation and to see the like the results and satisfactions or satisfaction of participants. Yes.
Absolutely love that. And I think it makes sense too. I mean, if you look at traditional kind of homesteading in Finland, you actually built the sauna before you built the home. And it acted as the
Yeah.
heart of the home and the heat. Then as you build the rest of the house, you build around. And so you have this kind of hot heart that extends to the rest of the home as you expand, which I thought was kind of beautiful.
Yeah, something that I am imagine now. Imagine some like special lightning and also around. This will be very beautiful because it's like the sky, the beautiful sky, and a beautiful lightning system, and also the sauna. I believe this place will be very special. The traditional time for winter here is around March to May. Around this time, we'll have like a large quantity of rain, and this will be very beautiful. Like a very nice experience, I believe.
Absolutely. I love that. Yes. Another question that I've got about analog missions is okay, imagine we're in Mars. We go to Mars and we're there. Beyond the first few kind of people who arrive, like, if you only have a handful of astronauts, like 5 or 6 or whatever, then you're just doing scientific research. You're literally just trying to figure out what's here, what's whatever. But eventually, you get beyond research and you get into living. You get into economic development. You get into productivity. And so, is there a way, or have you thought about looking at analog missions as opportunities to produce productive kind of experiences like small scale mining, quasi commercial farming? Is there a chance that we could turn these missions into kind of like homesteading on the moon?
Yeah, yeah, I believe this is the challenge. I suppose be the goals. Sometimes missions in other analogy stations are considered like some technologies that would be like considered to moon or to Mars would be like a feasible technologies to be used here on Earth too. And this is interesting to consider. Yes, for example, what the biggest analog we have like a list of 15 experiments that we'll be doing, and from the different universities in the world, and all continents are applying research to be developed during our in our station here, and also the analog stations in the world. And the idea is yes, we anticipate like sometimes when the participants and analog missions using, sometimes it's a utensil, sometimes is a would be a tool or a technology or a application, and they would be evaluate and identify improvements like also the ergonomics. Sometimes the ergonomics is not good, and would be necessary some improvements. And the analog stations are interesting about this. They would be considering like opportunities of improvements in the like sometimes the company that is providing the one technology to be tested, when the space analog astronauts they are using, they consider that the guidelines about how to put in operation like a machine, for example, is not the best way explain it. They would propose like a review of the guidelines. All of these kinds of learnings would be welcome for the primary investigator that or the company that's developing this product and tested during the analogs. And I consider that sometimes the analog missions would be used for regular products that you are using on Earth. Sometimes would be like, for example, a sunscreen, or would be like a cosmetic, or would be like also some article of nutrition. And these the analog mission would be used for the real products that we are currently using on Earth, like a focus group, like the analog missions would be used like a focus group to test products commercialized on Earth.
Yeah, yeah, I think that there's tons of opportunity there, and I also think there's got to be some way to engage people creatively. It's like Survivor in space. You put people in these environments, and you say, okay, well, you have to survive, so you bring what you can, but you should be able to make pottery. You should be maybe able to do metallurgy. You should be maybe able to do, like larger scale productive things. And one of the things that excites me most about these analog opportunities is just that, is getting to the inventiveness with this constraint of these incredibly scarce resource environments.
Yeah, I can't imagine so many ideas that I had during these 7 years of operation without the analog missions, because sometimes we have like one investigator like only based in theory, like a person that say I am investigating about sustainability on Mars, for example. And this person is only having idea, and it's very different when you have like a opportunity to do this with hands-on. It's very different. And sometimes when happening the mission, I like to say, look, I'm having an idea right now. I like to say this because to register that when we have like the mission is happening and also interacting different members in the mission, sometimes ideas are happening during the missions times we it's not available all resources necessary, and you need to be creative about how to fix something that is broke, or how to create something with not all materials necessary, not all resources available. Also, if you see like the Apollo 13, also like in the movie, they need to be very creative in terms to how to deal with the limitations and the discuss the resources to bring the crew of Apollo 13 to Earth safely. And in the analog missions is the same because sometimes you not have all the tools, not have all the materials, and how to be creative, and it's very interesting the interactions between members about creative ideas. Yes, I like so much this part.
Tell me about something creative that you've seen in one of the analog missions that has happened on Habitat Marte.
Sometimes like when we are assembling something like and there is no like a specific material, and someone like how as or maybe not will be possible to finish this assembling activity, but someone have other idea. But if you use this or this, and this is very interesting because sometimes like one person is not seeing the solution, and when you are combining like the motivated people, this will be the solution would be identified. And this is like real situations that we are dealing on in like in corporations. Also, this one of the things that one of the perspectives that I consider that the analog missions would be very interesting for corporations. Like how is important, like for example, some elements to receive corporations, people participants from like members from a company, for example. We have some lessons like the creative mindset, also like the influence or like this cosmic perspective, or how the importance of protocols and the process. Imagine the process to give support to operations. And I have two bachelors on management and psychology, and all the time I'm thinking about this, how to apply to corporations, to business, this experience.
Absolutely. So give me a specific example, something that came up.
There's like a polycarbonate plates, like this discovery, and we use like sometimes to cutting like the surface, because the polycarbonates like a plate of 2 meters by 6 meters, and how were cut to be built in the cosmic habitat, like some procedures to cut.
How'd you figure it out? What'd you guys do?
Yes, the stakes that we are using, like wood stakes. It's it's sometimes it's a little different the size. Sometimes like it's not very straight. Sometimes something more like presenting something like this, and we need to see adaptations to this process.
Yeah, it's like what's that thing? I think it's maybe Mike Tyson said everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face, you know?
Yes, yes.
So, okay, in a perfect world, let's say 3 years from now, what do you see spectacularly? What is the result? Like, what would be your most excited vision of what Habitat Mart is doing in the next 3 years? Like, paint me a picture of success, a continued success. Obviously, you're, yeah.
We are in a transition between a farm, because this place originally and it continues like a farm. We are in a transition time from a farm to a aerospace complex, and one of the things it's how to the main area, how to be more comfortable, or more not comfortable, but how would be more spectacular to receive, for example, students. Like we have like a reception area when we are receiving buses, like school buses, and how to have like infrastructure that people arrives and be impact in terms of visual. And this won't be one of the challenges that we are considering for the next 3 years. Because, for example, if you see like I don't know in Canada, but in Florida, we have Kennedy Space Center, right? And the people very stay arrives there, becomes like very excited with all of this, all the rockets and also the facilities. And how we would have something like more impactful in terms of like when the people arrive in the main entrance, like something like this. Also, this would be important for the future, because like receive the technical visits would be like an important source of revenues for also to keep the operations and do more investments. And this would be like I would like in the next 3 years, like to invest more in these like a common area to receive the visitors to the places. The habitats we will see, like for example Habitat Marte. We for the future we installing a gym, and now the greenhouse is a protected area, like it's around 200 square meters of a protected area. Protected area have ventilation, like external ventilation, and a small part of a controlled environment. In controlled environment, we have like a circulation systems, conditioning, artificial lighting, and one of the things, for example, we are the controlled environment, the controlled area is not in full operation because you need more investments in terms of lighting. Just have the air conditioning, but you need to do like the investments in the some investments to let operational, and this would be interesting. Would like to the next 3 years the controlling environment be operational, the gym, and also like the common area, the reception area, like probably we installing, have just idea. We have like a water tank, and we have like this water tank will be transformed in like in a rocket, and this would be interesting. Like the people arriving, see like the rocket in the landscape would be nice to photos. Yes, this is one of our ideas for the future.
Water tower rocket. I like that.
Yes.
That's cool. I mean, you need a water tower if you're going to have a civilization. So,
Yeah.
okay, water tower rocket. Yeah, brilliant. Now, in terms of little things like, I always think about fermentation, precision fermentation. Have you guys looked at opportunities to add to growing food with precision fermentation?
We, for example, we have a partnership with a Brazilian researcher from the Gabriel Mascarenhas. His work is a plant, nano tomato plant. It's like it's not a big 3 meters tomato plant, but it's like 50, 40, 50 centimeters, but productive. When we are cultivating these tomatoes for the next world biggest analog, they will be harvesting the tomatoes that we are cultivating now, for example. And we are these are one of the things, for example, for missions, the space analog missions, we have three kinds of food that we are consuming. The food that we are buying supermarket, also the food that is like freeze dried food that is like the normally the it's consumed on International Space Station, for example. Is in freeze dried food you add water and you have like the recovery of properties, like nutritive properties of this kind of meals. And the third kind of food is the food cultivated in the greenhouse. And for example, when we are preparing our meals, currently we are going to the greenhouse to harvest the fresh food, like sometimes this kind of onions or basil and also a pepper. These I really like this part of the mission because you are not using like the industrialized food, but you are using like the foods from the greenhouse to prepare the meal. The participants really like this. Sometimes would be like a vegan pasta only with the noodles from the supermarket and using the ingredients to like to create to prepare the pasta using the vegetables from the greenhouse. And this is a very interesting experience that we are providing for the participants.
There's something so humanizing about growing, touching, feeling, picking, cooking with food from the earth or wherever, food from your hydroponic system. But there's something beautiful about interacting with it.
Yes, the participants really like, and also this part of big beautiful photos that we have to provide for the media is the harvesting process that to show that we are cultivate food. Also sometimes we are doing like photos during the night is also beautiful, and sometimes using like special lighting, like sometimes red lighting, and the people we have like a very nice photos. And in our case, we are operating like the aquaponic systems. In aquaponic systems, there is also fish. We just had like missions that we consume the fish from the system. Yes.
What kind of aquaponics are you doing? Like a halibut system, or what kind of system you guys using?
It's basically two systems. Is grow beds. Grow beds, the water circulates from the water tank where the fishes are, and the poop of the fish is letting the water fertilizer is circulated for the grow beds. And the Second system is deep water systems. That is kind of something like a foil with the plants floating, and all these also this water is fertilizers for the plants. With the water is with nutrients for the plants. Yes. In this case, we have these two systems, but considering the starting the operations of the hydroponics in the near future. In this case, it's interesting for participants when they see like different agriculture systems, not only the navigationals, but if you are receiving schools, the students for in a technical visits about they see like different systems like hydroponics, aquaponics, the regular agriculture, and they see like different options that they would be developing sometimes in the backyard of their homes.
Yeah, so cool. And it gives the idea of circularity as you start to see these systems. And I think that is so important when you're teaching kids or anybody about these systems.
Yes. One of the things, one of the perspectives is we are, in our case, how to bring deliveries to local community. This is important for us. We like to stay isolated, but sometimes we are opening our facilities to receive the students. For example, we are 7 kilometers from the city, the small city of Caiçara do Rio do Vento, and it's a difficult name, but that means the fisher of the Wind River. The fisher of Wind River, yes, the translation. But we are sometimes, for example, next week when we'll be receiving students in Brazil or in this location, we'll be receiving students, local students. They will have the opportunity about conversation with astronauts in this. I believe will be excited to them, and they really like, and also the students sometimes they are from fundamentals, sometimes from high school, and they have like a very creative questions about space. And we like to receive them to answer some questions. Yes.
Beautiful. Now, there was a question that LinkedIn, I noticed that you were commenting with Cameron Smith about pressurized suits. Do you have interest in including pressurized suits, or are you already including pressurized suits in your Habitat Marte missions?
Yes, maybe not yet because it's necessary some related to some investment about, but something we just had in the past a conversation with researchers from textile department of my university, UFRN. But it's interesting when we have a collaboration with specialized researchers. I'm not the specialized researcher about this. Maybe I will start like a curious person and also see the learns about from other places, but I believe it would be interesting to have a investigator from this specific field working with us, and this would be important. But we are considering probably until to 2026 we have available a pressurized suit operating in the emissions.
What do you want to see in the next year or two, both at Habitat Marte and throughout the world, maybe in terms of education, in terms of knowledge? Like, what's your message? What do you want to see more of in the world related to this concept?
Yeah, we something interesting. We have like a modality of virtual missions. In the virtual missions, the participants need to imagine how the operation of a station on Mars or Moon. The participants, each member has to imagine the operation of specific facilities of this station. For example, in the imaginary station on Mars, on Moon, we imagine 7 facilities: the station, launch pad, engineering center, sanitation center, greenhouse, energy center, and yes, maybe I forgot one, but yes, and they will be chiefs, they will be members of of these facilities. They need to imagine the internal design, the management of these facilities, also the protocols, the spin-offs. And this is very interesting. They need to do a presentation, and we concluded recently international missions with participants from 11 countries in this virtual mission. And it's very democratic because the people does not necessarily spend a lot of money traveling to participate in an in-person mission. And the participants have great learnings about these virtual missions too. And now we have participants from more than 50 countries in these space analog virtual missions. This talk today is interesting because the people that now listen this conversation would like to say that everybody are welcome to travel to Brazil in person, but if not possible, maybe it would be interesting to apply to a virtual mission, because also in virtual mission this participant will be having contact with other participants, and also creating new networks and also working together. And for example, we invited them to write an abstract, and the abstract for our Congress called the Space Habitat event. And the Space Habitat event will be happening from November 13th to 16th. And also is currently open the applications for abstracts, and until September 30th we are waiting these abstracts, these applications. Yes, and yes, there's many opportunities. This moment is important to advertise and follow us in social media looking for Habitat Marte, and to identify these opportunities that we are sharing. And let's see. And then also each time I believe, Tyler, the society is more interested in space, mainly kids and mainly youth, and they, I believe, Habitat Marte have like good deliveries, like methodologies, like each time more solid. And this will be interesting. Have like your audience with us in the next days or next years participating of one of our activities.
Sounds amazing. So, for people who are interested in applying to the abstract for the virtual analog missions, what are you looking for in terms of inclusion in the project?
It's this congress. This is online congress. It's topics related to situations like would be happening on Mars or Moon. For example, are related like agriculture, health, or logistics systems. Also, yes, health, psychology, all aspects that would be related to future situations that will be experienced on Mars and Moon. There is also a site. If you write in the on Google, space habitat event, we'll find the information about this call for abstract. And also it's a free event. It's very democratic. We probably will be more than 40 presentations for now, and we are waiting like more than 50 presentations. Presentations are happening in different time zones, because sometimes you have someone from Philippines or from India, and someone from California. It's like a big time zone, different time zones. And also the presentations happens in different time zones to consider the inclusions of everybody. And also we also having presentations in Spanish and Portuguese, but maybe 70 or 80% of the presentations are based in English.
Cool. Well, I look forward to personally getting involved with that, and also hopefully, other people will hear about it as well through the platform. Any sort of closing thoughts or anything else that you want to communicate while we're here? This has been such a cool conversation.
Yeah, we are establishing a partnership with a German company called Stellaris, and the CEO is Michael Furk. We are doing a very good partnership with him. It's We are offering missions for next year. Uh, we have one of our last mission for 2025 will be from November 6th to 10th. It's normally we are requesting participants like is a fee more to cover the costs of the mission, also transportations and also the meals. Is $180 by day. It's sometimes it's not very expensive, and it's because also including the lodging, all the costs to participate locally, and this is a very feasible to participants take part of the mission. In this case, our last mission will be probably the 6th to 10th. We are open to receive like demands for specific times. For example, someone will be considered like participants from a university or from a company, and these persons can contact me and say, "Hi, Julio, I I'd like to know if you can do a mission, for example." Uh, February 6th to February 10th, for example, and we evaluate the possibility and accept the mission for a specific time. Sometimes the missions can be related to a specific goals under demand also from this group of from this person that is contacting us, and in this case one of the differentiations in our proposal is customize the mission under demand. In this case, the customization can be in terms of number of days. Sometimes can be a shorter mission, or would be a larger mission. Sometimes would be like 1 month or 3 days missions, depending of the demands of the person that is contacting us. Is something interesting based in these multiple habitats. The mission would be specific to one or other specific habitats. This would be like we are the only analog in the world with multicentric, uh, like a space village. We are the
Oh,
only in the world. Yes,
that's amazing. So is that all happening at Habitat Marte? Or is
yes,
that yes?
yes.
And then how many people would be accommodated in the space village?
It's Habitat Marte. We have the capacity of 13, and Luna Habitat 4, and the Lava Cave 2. And the cosmic habitat we will be more for like an outpost facility, like a support. It's only more to change the flight suit. Yes, its case would be for around 20 participants in different facilities. Like would be the maximum, but yes, but never done until now. But next week we'll have like 15 persons here, like 15 persons, like with of also the astronauts uh, uh, being part of this. Will be the mission 220. Will be the mission 220 with participants with the participation of two astronauts. Uh, the Denis Matiev, and also the Ayman Jahangir is one American astronaut, one cosmonaut with us.
Cool. So, I mean, 220 minutes, that's unbelievable. Plus, they're getting larger, they're getting more complicated. You have like real astronauts. I mean, that's pretty amazing stuff.
Yes, yes.
You must be very excited. I mean, I'm proud on your behalf.
Yes, is yes, but I need to have care about many logistic issues, like many logistic issues to consider, like how to have like prepare the bedrooms, the dormitories, and also the meals to all of them. It's not will be like a easy time. I have a lot of work to do, but I believe it will be nice. It will be a great time.
Amazing work that you're doing, and I think it's important not just for the project, but literally for humanity. I think that the sustainability of our species, to a degree, depends on the work that you and other people are doing in this domain, and it's not widely known outside of small circles. But as you say, I mean, I think this field was only really invented, a couple decades ago.
Yeah. Yes, we are happy about us. Also, we are very connected to also our local culture too. It's how also, as I mentioned, how the culture will be important for the sustainable experience. Because normally, when we are talking about sustainability, we are commenting about environmental, social, and economic sustainability. But I'm including a fourth dimension is the personal sustainability, like how to see psychology aspects of these of each participant, like how this person like would be healthy, mentally healthy, and this is like a base of the sustainability experience. Because if you see all the science fiction movies, all the collapse of the missions, like if you see 2001 and also the interstellar and all the science fictions, the what collapse the mission is the human factors, and these are, in my point of view, this is the like the basis, the foundation of the future of sustainability on its space. Yes.
I couldn't agree more. I think that the human animal is so incredibly complicated, and our well-being. I mean, again, it's kind of like those old settling days. You know, we need to think, well, what do humans need? And it's, I mean, one thing is when you look at those shows, it's not about families in space. It's about a single dude on a, it's like military in space.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I almost wonder if there's got to be a shift from the military in space to families and communities in space.
Yes, it's a interesting perspective. Also, we just receive like kids, and also for example, we request the participation of a parent. Normally, are the fathers participating with us, and they it's very amazing because we are when we receive kids, like you're not doing like adaptations, like they will be doing the same activities that happens in regular analog missions. They need they like so much because they we are giving to them a great responsibility. They like this, and sometimes the fathers are enjoying more than kids the meals, and this is amazing. And also you have like a lot of fun, the family together. Yes, and it's and this will be very important. I really believe like for the future, like if you are considering uh this, and also communication will be very important, like how to keep the bonds and the interactions between members of a family, maybe if they still isolated, but keeping interaction between them.
Yeah, I think that's super important anytime. I mean, you think about when people have mental difficulties, it's usually from isolation, loneliness. I mean, think about one of the worst punishments that we have for people is solitary confinement.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, Julio, what an awesome conversation. Thank you so much for taking the time. I really look forward to touching base in the future, and thank you. This has been an awesome time.
Yeah, also the if people like experience the winter in the north hemisphere, during the will be coming in the next months, you are welcome to travel to Brazil and participate in this experience. Also, uh, the destination airport is Natal, Natal, and Natal is very touristic. Many hotels and very beautiful beaches, and sometimes it's cold in the north. And we'll be traveling to Brazil, have experienced the Brazilian summer, also experience the beach, and also travel to countryside. There's 100 kilometers, and experience the semi-arid landscape. And it's very interesting, like have social moments in the beach, and also working, and also experience the countryside, the cactus landscape, and the beautiful night, the beautiful sky. And we imagine that we are bringing these very astonished experience based in these cultural and iconic moments here in Brazil. Okay, and yes, and inviting everybody. If the audience watching this conversation today, you are welcome to contact us. Look for us in social media and contact us about possible mission under demand, or just following one of our planned missions for 2025 or 2026.
Julio, this is on my bucket list. I will be there in Brazil doing one of these missions at some point, guaranteed. Thank you again, and I look forward to meeting you in person.
Okay, thank you. Are you welcome? During your winter, travel to Brazil to experience our summer. Okay,
100%. I will. Thank you.
bye.
Bye.